Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything grad life, grad advice, and research. And in today's video, we are discussing how to make a strong personal statement for a graduate application. And what makes this video even more unique is that we're not just talking about the most important parts of a personal statement in your graduate application. We are also going to look at the personal statement that got me into UCLA as a PhD student. So first, let's just briefly define what a personal statement is. A personal statement is more than just a document that tells your graduate program who you are. Personal statements that only give them biographical information are not going to be very competitive in the greater scheme of an application process. Instead, what a personal statement does is demonstrate how you and your personal goals fit into the graduate program that you are applying to. It is also there to demonstrate to the review committee that you have thought out your research proposal and really know what your research goals are. So while it is about you, it's not really about you. And for your personal statement to be really strong, you need to make sure you answer some questions. What is your research project? Why is it important to you or to the greater good, like the world? And why this specific program? Or in other words, how does this specific university, discipline, department help you reach your research goals in a way that no other institution, discipline, program could? So who you are is important, but only to the extent that you can answer these questions. By answering these questions, you're demonstrating to the review committee, or actually you're making it easier for the review committee to understand why you are the best candidate for this particular program. If you just focus on your biographical background, if you just focus on the things that inspire you or motivate you, then they could say, oh, well, you could get into any program or you could apply to any degree. So if you can demonstrate how you, your research plans, and your professional goals fit into the resources, the structure, the curriculum, the networking that is offered by this program, you make yourself so much more competitive. Now, to be able to do this successfully, you do have to do some prep work. And basically what this means is you need to look at the prompt and really dissect what are the keywords, focuses, or themes that are coming up in the prompt that demonstrates or really highlights what the university or what this department really cares about. And this means two things. One, that means you can't make one personal statement and send it to a bunch of schools. It's not going to work that well because again, you're trying to demonstrate how you fit into this program and what this program wants, offers, and how it can meet your wants and needs. So when you're reading the prompt, you need to dissect it for keywords, themes, major ideas, and then figure out how to fold that into your personal statement. And this will change for every graduate program that you apply to. Okay, so before we can get into the nitty-gritty of my personal statement, we do need to do the pre-work. And so that pre-work is dissecting the prompt. And right off the bat, we're reading this prompt based off of UCLA. What we are seeing is they use the word experience, preparation, like a couple times. It's something that they're really interested in, is demonstrating that you have experience, that you are prepared. They also ask for your plans for future occupation or professions, potential faculty members, and specific research interests. Again, the word prepared again. So we can see that UCLA is really interested in knowing your previous training or your research interests and your professional goals. So they want to know what you've done in the past, how it's related to what you want to do right now, and what that will lead to in the future. So if we go directly to my first paragraph and really zoom in so we can focus. The very first paragraph of my personal statement is kind of like a quick introductory summary of what they're about to read. So within this first paragraph, I'm kind of in a roundabout storytelling way presenting what I think the research problem is, how it's related to me, and presenting a quick, brief overview of what my qualifications are, right? And what this kind of summary really comes down to is, I noticed that there's a problem within museums. As wonderful as they are, people who look like me are not represented, be it within them working or within them as art subjects or as artists. And so with that information, I came to a conclusion that museums can be better, can be more inclusive. And the way that I came to that conclusion is through my training, through my academic study. And that's basically what the focus of this first paragraph is. And then if we keep moving into my second paragraph, in my second paragraph, I'm really expanding on what was just summarized in the intro. So what's important about your personal statement is, again, you are talking about yourself, and it should have a narrative, but the narrative should be guided by those previous questions that we discussed. What is your research project? Why is it important to you and to the world? And why this particular or specific university, program, or department? So in this paragraph, I'm really discussing what are my personal achievements or qualifications, right? Previous training, and not something that the prompt really wanted. But in addition to the previous training, I'm also listing research areas. I'm using keywords or trigger words to highlight my research areas, which was requested by the prompt as well, and how my the research that I've done in the past, how is that useful or informative to what I am hoping to explore next. So I'm really using this paragraph to put in as much information about my previous training and how it has me prepared to think about those problems that I just explained in the first paragraph. Now, if you're somebody who's not like me, who wants to switch and apply to a PhD completely different than their undergrad, then in this paragraph, you would still do something similar, but instead of focusing on the research topics like I am, you would focus on the research techniques or skills that you've achieved through your undergraduate or your master's research, and how that can help you through your PhD research or your PhD process. So in the second paragraph, I'm really defining how or why I am qualified and prepared to pursue further research on topics that I care about. But in the next paragraph, and it's actually a really, really big paragraph that I might have even been able to cut into two, I am extending my training into my occupational training. And again, I talk about my occupational background because that was something that was specifically requested in the prompt. But when I talk about these professional skills or moments, I'm not just saying, oh, I worked at these places to chase clout or to name drop, but rather I'm trying to demonstrate that they are also helping me inform the research questions or research goals that I have and are guiding me towards a PhD. So it's not just like I have professional experience at fancy places, but rather these experiences have helped me come to these conclusions or have exposed me to these questions. Also, something that I think is important that I'm noticing is throughout my personal statement, I'm making sure to add like buzzwords or like keywords that I found on the World Arts and Cultures Dance Department's website through their bio or their mission statement or how they describe their PhD program. So I'm using words like social change initiatives, grassroots organizing, social justice, art, just I'm talking a lot about my art experience because I know that's directly related to the things that WAC-D discusses, and it'll make more sense in this next paragraph, but it's connected. I'm demonstrating that I am connected with the things that the department are also connected with, or I'm interested in the things that the department is also interested in. So in the last three paragraphs, I'm really explicitly describing how my past experiences, academic ones, professional ones, personal ones, are all informing my research question and why my research is important, not just to me, but to those around me. I'm demonstrating that there's a problem within the world, society, within the academic field, and that I've had experiences, training, academic information, curriculum that have informed or guided me towards possible solutions that I would like to explore further within a PhD program. So in this next paragraph, I'm now explicitly explaining how the World Arts and Culture's dance department at UCLA and their PhD in Culture and Performance will help me answer these questions. How will they guide me to achieve or execute my research questions or my research project? So here I specifically say straight up, UCLA's Culture and Performance PhD's dedication to art, activism, culture, and identity is unprecedented and inspiring. Unlike other programs such as art history and ethnic studies, the CAP program allows me to explore multifaceted questions by utilizing interdisciplinary methodologies with faculty who are comfortable with diverse research content. So this chunk of words is really demonstrating what makes UCLA special and why it's necessary for me to do a good project to have these aspects or these characteristics within a graduate program. I also try to beat them to the punch because, again, review committees may say, oh, they'd probably be better suited for this program, so we won't accept them. But I beat them to the punch. I say, it can't be in art history, it can't be in ethnic studies because they're not interdisciplinary enough. They don't let me think about ethnic studies and they don't let me think about art history at the same time. I'd have to choose. But in CAP, I don't have to choose. Now, your program will have its own specific thing that's important to you, but it is important to highlight that. Then I reinforce that directly after by listing a faculty member that I would like to work with. And then I explain why I would like to work with this faculty member. So working with Dr. Roberts and her work with translating cultural experiences into museum exhibitions, discussing cultural identity and race, could help be guidance I need to formulate questions and decide my own personal methodologies and construct my research in a fulfilling and informed manner. So I did a little back research on the faculty at UCLA. And that is something that I've talked about in a past video on how to get into any graduate program. And I have a lot more information on grad admissions. So if you're interested in any of that, check out my grad admissions playlist. But what's important here is you have to show them that it's not a cookie cutter application, that this department, that their faculty, that their curricula is important and different and special to you and will guide you towards a unique research project. And it can only be done at this particular moment in this particular university, at this particular department. So you really have to try to be as specific as possible. Now, as you see, I didn't write a whole book about it. I just kind of alluded to it. So you don't have to do too much research, but being very specific about why this program, how it will help you, and who will guide you is one way to astronomically improve your personal statement. And then the very last paragraph is, again, kind of like the intro paragraph, a summation of what was just said, but highlighting the most important parts. So again, restating my qualifications. I have a master's, I have education, I have professional skills, why I would want this PhD, right? So now I'm alluding to my future professional goals, which again was expected in the prompt. So I'm trying to answer every part of the prompt while also answering those 3 questions that we discussed earlier and bolstering it up and connecting it to a larger story of what I hope my research can do and why my research is important. Now, I don't know how closely you were reading my personal statement, but something else to notice is that your personal statement doesn't have to be perfect. I had typos. I put commas in places that they probably shouldn't exist. I also misspelled the actual name of the degree. Now, I'm not encouraging you at all to make mistakes in your personal statement and try to have it as perfect as possible, but the point is, a personal statement doesn't have to be perfect to get in. The most important aspects of your personal statement is really demonstrating to the review committee how you fit into this program, how this program fits into your research project, and what you hope to get out of this research project, and what you hope to achieve through this PhD program. Nobody wants you to fail when you get to grad school. So showing that you've thought through the most difficult parts really helps everybody, including the review committee, believe in you and help you get to where you need to go. So if you're interested in hearing more grad life, grad advice, and everything research, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions about grad admissions or more specific questions about my personal statement, leave a comment down below. And as always, if you found at least 2 things useful, don't forget to hit the thumbs up so others know that this video has good quality content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.